It's great to have you coming to be interviewed today, because I'm really keen to know more about the Ryedale Book Festival, and you're the organiser of the inaugural festival happening this year. So I think it'd be really great if you could just give us a bit of an overview about what's happening.
Well, the main festival is on Saturday the 20th of October and will be in Malton this year, and the idea is that there's a fun-packed programme of events with something to appeal to everyone that starts from 9 in the morning and runs through till pub closing time when Arthur Smith finishes the pub quiz at the Milton Rooms. But in addition to that event on Saturday the 20th, we've got an open mic tour that's running in northern Ryedale from the end of September and going from Kirby to Pickering and then to Helmsley Arts Centre on the 5th of October. And the idea for those events is that if you are a writer or a reader or an interested party and want to come along, £2 on the door, it's not ticketed, just come on in and see what's happening. Then you can have 5 minutes to read something. It could be your own work, it could be someone else's, it could be a favourite piece to share, and you could come along with something in mind and decide not to bother, or you could come along and have an audience. So that is a concept that's been going on in York and in various different places. As far as I know, it's not been tried in Ryedale before, so the leaders of the spoken word open mic, Rose Drew and Alan, are going to be coming out and bringing some of their people with them, but we're hoping that Ryedale take it on and make it their own, really.
So that's going to build the momentum for the big event. But when we were chatting earlier, you were saying that it's not just the festival is not just a one-off date in October, but there are plans, and we'll go into the details about what's happening on that particular day. But it's going to be much more of the vision is of a year-round event. The
vision is a year-round event, that this festival could be the umbrella for literary events for Ryedale throughout the 12-month calendar year, and there are ideas about developing the open mic if that proves to be popular, bringing together a reading group for Ryedale where we could perhaps meet every quarter in different places, all decide to read the same book, and then maybe we invite the author to come along. That could roam around. There are writers groups that are starting up at Helmsley Arts Centre. They need readers to read their work and audiences. So there's ideas to link in with other things that are going on, and there are other arts events going on like the Shared Ryedale Festival at the Milton Rooms, and we're hoping to have working relationships with those artistic directors and venues to really bring literary events and things that are going on in schools together, and to sort of have a central focus point for those.
Brilliant. So that's sort of year round. Let's focus on the big day.
October, yes.
October the 20th?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what's happening?
Well,
and there's loads happening actually, isn't it? And it's going to be hard to capture it, but just give it a little overview.
Well, the main event is in the Milton Rooms. It's what we think of as being the hub of the festival. It's a wonderful space, great big venue with a sprung dance floor, and in there we're going to have a ticket office and information point. So if you're coming into Malton on the day, that's where you need to start off, and doors will be open from 9 o'clock in the morning. Any tickets that haven't sold beforehand will be on sale from there, and you can also get a programme and find out details about events if you haven't already worked it out online, and there'll be some people to answer lots of questions. And within that space there's going to be an independent book fair, which is going to have bookshops visiting from Whitby. We've got the Whitby bookshop, we've got the White Rose Bookshop from Thirsk, we've got Summit Bookshop from Kirby Moorside, we've got the Warehouse from Pickering, we've got Persephone coming up from London, which is of particular excitement to myself personally, but there are also local publishers, Valley Press from Scarborough, Stairwell Books, there's anyway, too many to mention, but also a lady from Leeds who runs the Travelling Suitcase Library. She's going to be coming over with her travelling library and setting up a Read It, Swap It zone. So if you have, for example, 5 books that you've read, you enjoyed them, they're not loved enough to stay on your bookshelf forevermore, put them in a bag, bring them along, have a rummage at the books on display and take away 5. It won't cost you a penny. So there's that going on. And also within the book fair, which is going to be set up from 9 until 6, doesn't cost you anything to get in, admission free. There's going to be the children's project, which has been touring Ryedale. It's going around 10 different schools, and about 650 Ryedale school children between the ages of 6 and 7 have been writing a story. It's all their own work. They get, as a class, 40 words maximum to add to the story, to illustrate it. I then pick it up and take it to the next school. So the school receives it on Monday, they work on it during the week, I collect it on Friday and take it on. Now this story is brilliant. It is so exciting to see the quality of the work that they're producing and to see their excitement and pride.
But they obviously got no idea about what
they
it's
don't know
all
what's
going to be
coming.
revealed.
They don't know what's coming, and what is so exciting is that they don't know where it's going. And when I've been to speak to the classes, they've clearly explored the potential for the story for future schools and left their section on a cliffhanger.
Great.
And we are hoping that these children are going to bring their mums and their dads and their families not only to look at their own illustration and their own work, but also to actually find out what happened. And this book is being taken by some publishers and being made into a professionally produced book. It's going to have its ISBN number, it's going to be available for purchase by parents and indeed anybody. And if you look on the website and click on, I think it's the school's project box, then you can download a book order form. And if you do that before the festival, which starts on the 20th, it's a special pre-festival price of £7.99. And it's actually the sales of that book that help the festival to fund further outreach work in the schools. For example, Andy Seed, local writer of the All Teachers series, he's going into another 10 different primary schools speaking with the Key Stage 2 children, formerly called the juniors. They're 7 to 11-year-olds, and they're doing a performance poetry competition, and each student is taking part, or each pupil is taking part in this competition within the school, and then the school selects a winning team to represent them at the grand final. And at 3:30 in the afternoon on the stage in the Milton Rooms, Andy Seed and 3 other judges who are writers and local people are going to be acting as X Factor style judges, and the performance poetry competition is aptly named the P Factor, and they're going to have no more than 2 minutes to perform a poem. It's not of their own making, it's Roger McGough or Roald Dahl or something, and they're going to perform it. They're going to be receiving points, and the prize winners will all receive a medal, and each child participating will receive books that have been donated from the book fair. So this is work that's been going on in the schools, and we're hoping to expand this in future years and to get to a different range of primary schools, possibly even secondary schools, if they'll let us in and we can come up with a concept that will work and fit in and complement their curriculum. So that's, I've digressed, but that's the school project, and that's in the book fair, so come along and see that. That won't cost anything either. And also within the Milton Rooms, we've got what I think of as our art corner, because books are about the written word, but they're also about the pictures, and we think this is important in the festival. And in the morning, 9 till 11, you can come along and listen to a story with a little one, up to maybe 7 years old, and make a craft. So you could listen to Room on the Broom by Junior Donaldson and make a wizard's hat or a witch's wand, or a dinosaur book, and create a decorate a dinosaur. So it's gluing and sticking, an art, an early years craft in the morning. 9 till 11 there is going to be Liz Collier, a graphic artist, working, and this will appeal to older children and young people, but it could be for adults as well. The increasingly popular comic strip style artistry is going to be going on. And then when she clears her materials away, from 1 till 3 we've got Tim Bulmer coming, former Ryedale artist, now emigrated to York, and he has a new book out, a guide to the English, and he's going to be setting up shop with his easel, with his pen and ink. And the idea is that you can come and see him in work, you can talk to him, you can sit down with him, he can assist you, or you can just be a spectator. You wouldn't get me trying to draw something because I can't draw, but I might stay and hover and watch, because I think it is fascinating seeing people working. So his new book's also going to be on sale. So that's the kind of arty corner. Up on the stage in the morning we've got Audrey Woodhouse's Telltale Tent, and you can come along. Your little one can pay £1 and go and sit in the tent and hear her stories, which is a magical fairy tale tent with cushions and glitter and bunting and that sort of thing. And in the afternoon, when her tent's been taken down, we've got 2 open mic sessions, and you have to put your name down at the Stairwell book stand. It's 1 o'clock, there'll be a session for an hour, and then a second one at 2 o'clock. And you can pay £1 and go and sit on the stage as a spectator, or you can read some of your work. So if you're a writer, whether it be a poet or a short story writer, and you're not published, or maybe you are published, and you would like to share some of your work with people there, then that's the best opportunity for yourself. And if you're not a writer, but you like reading, you like the spoken word, you could choose a poem to bring along to share with people or something. In the afternoon, yes, 1 o'clock, Jess Hay, who's running the library book swap thing, also known as, she blogs by the way as the Book Elf, if you look at that in Leeds. But she's running a recommended read session, which is something that I'm particularly interested in seeing work. And the idea is that it's in the studio. Again, pay £1 to come in and sit down. It's not ticketed. Once the studio gets full, we'll have to close the doors obviously, but hopefully it can accommodate a lot of people. Come along and listen and hear about other people's favourite reads. It might give you some suggestions as to go out and what you might like. But also, if you've got a favourite book that you've read, or read a long time ago, and you want to come along and tell other people about it, you don't have to bring a copy, but you could bring a copy, hold it up, people get a visual impression of the book. You could perhaps read a short extract from it and explain why you'd recommend it to somebody. And that is a very inexpensive way for all the bookworms out there to sort of get together, and also to meet each other and to share that event. But can I tell you about the children's things, please? Because the idea is that you could come out as a family and just be busy from 9 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And there are places where you can stop and get lunch, there are places to eat and drink. We've tried to be sensible about lengths of events, and choose venues where you could change a nappy, where you could have a little one with you. And for children, for children, it's about making stories fun and about reading fun, and the idea is that you could actually go away having had a great family day out and not feel as though you'd necessarily learnt anything. It's
But hopefully armed with a few new books,
well,
and being
books from
inspired.
the book club, but being inspired and getting together, and it is about fun. It's not
Yeah.
about teaching as such. It's about getting a group of people together and having a nice time. But you could come and listen to the gingerbread man and decorate a gingerbread biscuit. You could come to a book launch of a brand new book that's coming out called The Squizzle at Goose and the Moose. They're having a book launch party, and you can meet the author there, Donna Iliffe Pollard, and buy a copy of the book and have it signed. Music, if you want to come along and go into the library, and there's an hour's session, one at 10 o'clock, one at 11 o'clock, for two slightly different groups of children. You can come along, listen to a story, but also think about the words, wording the story and the rhythm of the story, and it's going to be interactive, so everyone will be given musical instruments, and there's going to be dancing and movement, and one of the stories I think is going on a bear hunt, and if you want to go into a library and have a nice quiet read, don't go in on Saturday the 20th of October, because that's going on in the morning. And in the afternoon, author Megan Peel, or M.L. Peel as she's known, author of The Fabulous Affair of the Fartlehorn, no, that's wrong, the Fabulous Fartlehorn Affair, is going to be coming with a real life Fartlehorn, and you can have your picture taken with it. And I'll leave it up to watchers to work out how the instrument's played, but let me tell you, it isn't with lips. So that is going to be very interesting and very amusing, and the book is incredibly well written, and if you have or know children, grandchildren, if you are between the ages of about 7 and 11, get yourselves a copy. It's from Walker Books, and it's fantastic. What else? There is a play created by the Charles Dickens Society in Malton. It's going to be in the Yard at 2 o'clock. It's in the style of a radio play, so they will have scripts, but it will actually be quite funny. It's set in modern day Rillington, I think, of all places. So here in Ryedale, it's a whodunit, but it's using Dickens characters. So that involves local actors and local young performers from the Kirkham Henry School of Music and Dance. And those children or young performers from Kirkham Henry are also involved in an event which involves Lucy Robinson coming up from London. She is the writer of The Greatest Love Story of All Time, which sold thousands and thousands of copies. It's classic chit-lit, very funny. If you read the blogs on Amazon and the write-ups, very, very astute book, and she's going to be coming, reading an excerpt from her book and doing a Q&A session afterwards. So if you fancy coming and meeting Lucy, that's the place to be, 3:45 at the Methodist Chapel on Savile Street. For more intellectual writers and readers, if that's the right word, Lucy Beckett, who is a very popular local writer who appears regularly at the Ryedale Festival, is speaking at the Friends Meeting House at 10 o'clock about writing a historical novel. She is author of Postcards of a Volcano, incredibly wonderful to listen to, very informative, very nice style, and you can catch her then. And immediately after Lucy Beckett is Kate Fox and Alfie Crow, professional performance poets, and we have commissioned a new piece from them called Articulated Laureates, and the idea is that they will take us on a tour of the poet laureates who have been in office during this current Queen's reign, and it will be informative, but it will also be funny, witty, clever, and great entertainment. So that's the world premiere of Articulated Laureates at 11:15 at the Friends Meeting House. If you fancy staying over lunchtime and you want to have a literary lunch, then you can meet with Gervais Finn, who'll have a new book out in his series. And another option would be to see G.P. Taylor, or Graham Taylor, and he's the author of the Shadowmancer series, for those who don't know, and one of those books is being made into a film by Hollywood as we speak. So he's being interviewed by Andy Boxall at Hope Central about what it's like to have a book, be a vicar, make millions, go to Hollywood, all the rest of it. So really something for everyone, we hope. In the evening we've got the award ceremony of the poetry and writing competitions. So if you did submit an entry, 5 o'clock in the Milton Rooms is the place to be to pick up your prize. And the short story will be read by a professional actor at Tea and a Tale, 4:30 the next day. And what else? In the evening, if you're a reader or a writer and you think you know a bit about books, then you really need to get yourself back to the Milton Rooms at 7:30, because there's going to be a literary pub quiz, 100 questions, grouped into categories of 10, and Arthur Smith is
the well-known comedian.
The well-known comedian, and just...
It'll be great fun.
Yeah, I'm so excited about the prospect of him coming, and he has agreed to come and be host of the pub quiz, so he'll be reading the questions, but it'll also be entertaining the audience. So that is £30 for a team of 4, or if you want to come on your own or as a couple, it'll be £10 each ticket. And a case of wine, fine wine, has been donated by local business Tate Smith, and first prize will be first choice of the case of wine. You can take away 6 bottles, second prize take away 4 bottles, and the runner-up can take away the remaining 2. So that is going to be a very relaxed, very informal, very funny, very original pub quiz. So you better start swatting up on your plays and your poetry and your prose and all that stuff.
And a great way to end what's
great way to end that day. But
day.
It goes on because we were going to be having Ian Balding coming to speak at the Talbot Hotel at 3 o'clock, but that wonder horse Frankel, who everyone will know about, is also running at Ascot, and I'm afraid he's upstaged us somewhat, so we have relocated that event, well, not relocated it, we've rescheduled that event from the Saturday to the Sunday evening, same venue, same type price ticket. For £10 you can come along to the Talbot and have a glass of mulled wine, hear Ian Balding talking about his racing anecdotes, watch a clip of Mill Reef. There's going to be an auction raising money for the Injured Jockeys Fund, an opportunity to buy his books, and some of Claire Balding's signed books. She's got a new autobiography out, and if you haven't heard of Ian, you'll certainly have heard of Claire. So that's actually the end event is 6 o'clock on the Sunday, but just so much going on. The whole town is going to be coming out and supporting it.
So you've got, from what you've been telling me, it's amazing. You've got obviously literature, you've got theatre, you've got art.
Yes.
What else? Is there anything else that you've forgotten?
Rap.
You've got rap.
We have rap. We have James Coppett and his gang coming over to Tui's in the afternoon, and there's a 2-hour rap workshop, completely free, and you can come in and learn
how to rap.
I'm not going to embarrass myself. But
no, go on, have a go.
No. But certainly for wannabe rappers.
Yeah.
And we hope the kind of teenage young people audience, that there'll be something for them. And with what I haven't mentioned when you were asking me about drama, is there are some young people, and I'm talking under 10-year-olds, going to be performing pieces that they've created, fairy tale stories that they've been workshopping with Audrey Woodhouse over the last few weeks, and they're going to be performing their stories. So I know for sure that there's Little Red Riding Hood. There may be other ones, and something that I think would be really nice and I'm really excited to see is not only giving them an audience, but for young people to actually see drama performed by their peers is something that you don't get very often. So that's at the Methodist Chapel at 1:30 in the afternoon, and I think that's pretty much everything. But the website is the place to look at. It's www.ryedalebookfestival.com, and that's all one word, uppercase, lowercase, doesn't matter. But that's got all the information on it and information about tickets. And if you want to contact me or any of the team, then events@ryedalebookfestival.com is the place to go. And have forgotten one thing, and that's the cinema. The Palace Cinema in Malton, an independent screen, will have films of books showing throughout the week. So have a look at their menu. Have a look at their programme.
Yeah, I mean, we've just come off the back of the Olympics, where there's been a huge voluntary involvement, and with a number of things that you've been telling us about things that are going on, it must just be a huge voluntary involvement in this too.
Yes, it's been run entirely by volunteers with local funding support, and we are actually looking for more volunteers to help us on the day. So if you haven't been involved so far and you fancy coming out on the 20th and giving us a couple of hours of your time and helping to support one of the events, if there's a particular event that you'd be coming to anyway and you'd be happy to collect tickets at that event or introduce a speaker, it would certainly guarantee that you get to meet them. The place to be is the Milton Rooms again at 7 p.m. on Thursday the 20th of September, where we're getting all these new people in together and working out who wants to do what and who would be happy to do what. So thank you for reminding me about that as well.
That's great. Well, all the very best. It sounds
Thank you very much.
amazing.
I hope to see you there.
You know, for its first year to have so much happening on its first year, goodness me. Fantastic effort, and thanks very much for telling us about it.